This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by the National Rifle Association. From the CZ Studios.
They're never going to stop us here.
Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins right now. I am Mark Walters, filling your prescription for freedom today and every day here in the CZ Studios, all brought to you by the National Rifle Association. I got a SIG hat on today, Greg, and it was a little crooked. Looked kind of goofy. SIG hat. Yeah, don't know why, but I do, because I like the hat, right? I like my SIG.
Yeah, sure.
So there you go. What was it? CZ Studios, all brought to you by the National Rifle Association at the Patriot Mobile Ranch here in front of the Patriot Mobile Communication and Command Center microphone. Greg in Dallas, how you doing, brother?
Not too bad. Tuesday, here we are. Monday's ugly sister.
Yeah, so I understand you're not going to be here next week.
Yeah, I'm taking a little vacation time.
You going diving? You go see what's down below the surface?
No diving this trip. Just gonna do a little prospecting on future investments, and then just doing a little personal traveling.
Prospecting on future investments. When you find some good ones, let me know.
I will try.
That would be fun. Let's try to move this camera down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, we're going to get this studio going here, man.
Sausage on the air.
Had problems, a lot of reports on internet outages and everything all over the country yesterday. Well, we got hit. So there you go. I don't know, that's not coincidence for sure. I can promise you that.
I'm sure they picked and choose correctly.
Yeah, they pick and choose correctly. That's for sure. Greg, we are live on Facebook.com/Armed American Radio. You can watch us over there. And I got to hand it to Facebook. They have opened us up in a big way. And we do appreciate that. Believe me, I got notifications from them again today as time goes by. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're on Facebook and you want to engage, please do. I did put a post out that's got several thousand views and a number of comments today regarding Glock, and I want to get your perspective on it because we're going to talk about it today with Lee the GunWriter Williams, and also the incident at the Atlanta airport. We know a little bit more from yesterday. Greg, I understand you have a clip, right? We're going to play from Fox 5?
Yep.
So that's an interesting story as well. And, of course, we'll catch up with Lee the GunWriter Williams, but I'll let you tell everybody where else they can watch us and listen to us, participate in the chat and all that fun stuff. We'll get cracking with the day.
Sure, other places to watch the show are going to be YouTube and Rumble. Just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. Over on X, we're at AAR Mark. You can head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com, hit that menu icon, then select your watch live or listen live option. Lastly, if you'd like to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Now, if you were listening to the show yesterday, I took a sip of apple juice, and Andy Hoosier gave me a boatload of crap for that, so I'm going to take a sip of apple juice right now.
Well, there you go.
There we go. He said
So
he started laughing. He said, that just sounds like an old person. He got this visual. It's just apple juice. I like apple juice. It's refreshing, right? What can I tell you?
Sure.
It's good for keeping my sugar up when it's low. Nobody cares about that. Lee the GunWriter Williams, welcome in, brother. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. And first, before I go to anything, I want you to give us a Tata Damiak update if you have anything else from our prior conversation last week, because we had a lot to talk about last week. Has there been anything else happening before we get cracking on two big subjects today that are rather interesting?
Yeah, I spoke to his appellate attorney, and I got to tell you, I'm pretty impressed. The attorney's name is Matt LaRosiere, and he's in Florida. And I mean, there's something different about appellate attorneys.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they're better. I think they just focus better. And he said, and I got to read this to you. What Tate's case shows you is that it doesn't matter what you have; they can still charge you. Mm-hmm. And oh man, if that, I don't think a more truthful sentence has ever been said.
Well, it's true, and nobody wants to bring the weight of the federal government down on him. And you and I are going to have a lengthy conversation about Glock today, and that comes into play because I've warned people for at least a year. Greg, I lost count. Just stay away from searching for those Glock switches. Don't even bother. Don't. Yeah, right, Greg? You agree? Don't get. Yeah. You don't think you're being looked at? You don't Google is. Oh, come on. Who's searching for Glock switches? We want to know. All right. Just don't even bother. Lee, that's good advice, isn't it? I mean, we shouldn't have to say that. We shouldn't have to worry about that, but we kind of do, right?
Yeah, I would not search for anything illegal right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if it's gun related. With our ATF out there, how many of them really don't care who's in the White House? I mean, look what they're doing to Tate. I mean, I would be very, very, very careful online, especially. I don't care especially if it's your home computer.
Yeah, guys, it's not a good idea to search how to build a deer stand near an airport that Trump flies into. Okay, just don't do that, because somebody's gonna knock on your door. And you really don't want that happening. I'm being a little facetious there, but nonetheless, there's people out there that do that stuff. All right, so do I want to save Glock for last, or do I want to go there first? Because it's going to take some time.
Let's go there, man.
All right, let's go there. Let me start here. This is a really fascinating story. Yesterday, the Second Amendment Foundation, it wasn't just the Second Amendment Foundation, but a number of outlets put a post up right after we got off the air, and we haven't even had a chance to talk about that yet. And let me pull the statement up that appeared on the Second Amendment Foundation's, I believe it was their Twitter feed. Huge news. Now, when it's coming from the SAF, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, if you're a longtime listener of the show, you know my affiliation. I'm on the board of directors of the CCR-KBA, the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. I've sat in every single SAF and CCR-KBA board meeting for the last decade, and intimately aware of what's going on, the cases, et cetera. As a result of that, just had a quasi-board meeting today on Zoom just a half hour ago. So I say that only to let you know that I trust what comes from the Second Amendment Foundation, and I know that they vet things. However, this is different. I'm not knocking SAF on this because no one knows. But here was the post that went up yesterday. We have huge news. We have received news that as of November 30th, all Glocks are discontinued except 43, 43X, and 48X. Now, I have all of those guns and many others. All Glocks will be replaced with the new Glock V models. These will have changes that prevent switch conversions. At launch, all will be non-MOS. And MOS, of course, is the modular optic system. If you see MOS, it means modular optic system. Well, it's pre-ready to take optics. No pricing changes. Still working to confirm new information. Now, that came from Glock's store, and it was reposted by Second Amendment Foundation, and not just because they posted it, but it was viral everywhere anyway. So that's caused quite the buzz, as you can imagine. Why? Well, ladies and gentlemen, because you just knew we've been talking about this for a few weeks. Greg, what did Gavin Newsom just sign? HB 1127 in California last week. What does it do? Greg, do you remember?
I do not.
It bans Glocks. You were working, and
Yeah,
I'm sorry to catch you off. It's the bill we were talking about that bans Glocks. That takes effect in, I believe, January or April of 2026. Banning Glocks. And my comments, Lee, on this program for the longest time have always been, never cave to the left. Why should Glock fix something that isn't broken because China is illegally manufacturing something and selling it to criminals in the United States in violation of federal law that has nothing to do with Glock? First off, that question to you right there, Lee.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. It's not a Glock issue. It's something that's made in China under the table and imported here by the thousands illegally. It's an illegal device that can go on a Glock. Why is Glock being held? Why does Glock feel the need to do anything about this? Why isn't the ATF in these inner cities where these gangsters are receiving these packages and throwing them in jail?
Yeah, that's interesting because those of you who follow me on Facebook, and there's 80,000 of you who do, I put a post up earlier today asking for your comments on this. Obviously, we're going to be talking about this today and probably throughout the week as we get more and more information. And there were some great comments on the Facebook page, and I want to read some of those, and I'll shout you guys out. I do appreciate you getting involved because it begs a lot of questions. Now, what generation model are we on in Glock right now? Lee, 5?
Oh, yeah, I believe it's 5.
All right. So let me phrase it this way. Greg, how much time do I have before the break? I don't want to, this is going to require
40 seconds.
40 seconds. Okay. So let me set this up, for the break. When I come back, I'll let you know a little bit about what Glock said. We'll talk a little bit about that. Did they respond? Should they respond? What does it mean? Is it coincidence? Okay. But I will set it up with this. Glock has been making new generations of their guns for, pun intended, generations, right, Lee? Fair statement. You have a Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, Gen 7. Okay, so this is nothing new. And we're up against a hard wall here. So when we come back from the break, I'll explain what some of the complaints you hear about Glock at some of the gun shows, at some of the trade shows, all right, particularly the SHOT Show every year and the National Rifle Association, the two biggest ones. And we'll kind of just talk about this, kind of unfurl it as best we can, read you what Glock has said about this, I'll give you some thoughts on what I think they might say about it in the future, if anything, quote some AWR Hawkins, and we'll get all kinds of perspective from our phenomenal guest today, Lee, the GunWriter Williams. We'll be right back to break it all down for you. Don't go away. Coming back at you now, guys. 25 seconds, 20 seconds. Ooh, the brakes are flying. Buckle in, guys. The show's going to boogie right along.
The The following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, welcome back to the show indeed. We are in that hateful weather pattern here in Georgia right now where it's cold in the morning and I had to put the heat on. And in the afternoon it's hot. And it just wreaks havoc on the guitars in the studio. It just does in the tuning. And anybody that plays an instrument knows that. Hate that weather. Just be one or the other. Anyway, welcome back, guys. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense continues here in the CZ USA studios, all brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Please go out of your way to visit all of our great partners and support them all, please. They make this show possible every single day, and we really want to be here another 17 years, okay? And we need you to do it, and we need your help. Visit them all. BudsGunShop.com is our official exclusive online retailer, and they're amazing. An amazing company, amazing people, great products. They need your support. Firearms industry's down right now. You need just, maybe you got a bunch of ammo, just buy a box from them. All right? Buy a holster from them. Do something fun. Buy a gift, whatever it may be. Take advantage of the great discounts over there. You can find it at budsgunshop.com, budsgunshop.com, and also barrelbuddy.com. Use the promo code AAR over there. Crossbreed Holsters, Heaven's Harvest Food, Defender Coffee. All of these great companies can be found at armedamericanradio.com. Lee the GunWriter Williams, welcome back in, brother. So let's do this because this Glock story is interesting for a number of different reasons. I'm not here to pick on Glock. I'm not going to do that because I'm only going to go off of their statements. Now, again, go ahead.
Was it a Glock statement or was it from this retailer?
Well, I'm going to do both. We're going to cover everything here and get some commentary from me on this because it begs a lot of questions. And when I opened up the Facebook page today at Armed American Radio, and ladies and gentlemen, you can visit us there at facebook.com/armedamericanradio. And please join us over there. Join Armed American Radio and get involved in the conversation. We've got about 80,000 of you over there, 100% organic. We don't buy anybody on the page. You're there because you want to be there. Those are huge numbers, and help us grow them. Help us take our social media back. I got to hand it to them. They've really opened us up. So help us grow it. But the statement from Glock Store was huge news. We've received news that as of November 30, all Glocks are discontinued except 43, 43X, 48X. All Glocks will be replaced with the new Glock V models. These will have changes that prevent switch conversions. At launch, all will be non-MOS. That's the modular optic systems. No pricing changes. Still working to confirm new information. Now, getting real confirmation from Glock has been kind of tough to do. So let me go over to AWR Hawkins' piece over here and quote a little bit. A number of you might be wondering, really all models? So we're going to take this right off the page, guys. This is according to Glock. The announcement that was posted on their website, which you can go see, and I've posted a link on that Facebook post at Armed American Radio. You can click right on it. It'll take you right there. Because if you get to the page, you got to wait for some things to scroll by, and it might get a little aggravating because it doesn't pop right up. So we lead you right there on the Facebook page. That more than 30 handgun models will be discontinued. Now, Lee, you know these models like I do, intimately. The soon-to-be discontinued models are this. The Glock 17 Gen 4, the Glock 17 MOS, that's the modular optic systems, Gen 4 and Gen 5. Glock 17 Classic Gen 3, G17L MOS Gen 5, Glock 19, which is arguably outside the SIG P365 or macro, the most common concealed carry handgun probably ever, to be honest with you. I think that's a fair statement.
Without a doubt.
No doubt about it. And I love the gun. My son carries it. I move now between the car, but that's a different story. Let's keep with this. The G19 Gen 4, the G19 MOS Gen 4, the Glock 20 Gen 3 and Gen 4, the 21 Gen 3, Gen 4, the Glock 21 SF, the 22 Gen 3, 4, and 5, the Glock 22 modular Gen 5, Glock 23, which is the Glock 19 and 40, that's the Gen 4, the Glock 24, the Glock 26, which is the compact 9mm, the Gen 4, or the subcompact, I should say, the Glock 27 Gen 3, 4, and 5, the Glock 29 Gen 3, 4, and 5, the Glock 29 SF, the Glock 30 Gen 3, 4, and 5, the 31 3, 4, and 5, 32 3, and 4, 33 Generation 3 and 4, the 34 Gen 3 and Gen 4, the 34 modular, the Glock 35 Gen 3 and 4, the 35 MOS Gen 4, the Glock 36, which is the subcompact 45, The G36 FGR, I'm not familiar with that one. Glock 37 Gen 3 and 4, the 38, the 39, the Glock 40 modular Gen 4, the 41 Gen 4, the 41 modular Gen 4, and the Glock 49. Now, at the bottom of the page, on their frequently asked questions, it says this: why is Glock discontinuing so many models? The company's answer on the page: in order to focus on the products that will drive future innovation and growth, we are making a strategic decision to reduce our current commercial portfolio. This streamlined approach allows us to concentrate on continuing to deliver the highest quality and most relevant solutions for the market. Next question: will discontinued models still be supported? A lot of people had that question, of course. The answer is yes, with an exclamation point. Just like we do with previous generations, we will continue to service discontinued models. Lee.
I don't even know what to say.
You're speechless. I could tell by the hesitation. I know you. I can see you now. So when you hear that, as a firearms expert, a trainer, former law enforcement, former security, ex-military, you're very well aware and very intimately knowledgeable on the Glocks, carried them, shoot them, use them, own them. What are your thoughts here? Let's not go to the political side yet. Let's just stay focused on Glock, and then over the next couple segments, we'll start giving some opinion.
Well, geez, Mark, I mean,
that's quite a lineup, brother.
Yeah, I have no idea. And we know this is true. This is from Glock, the back and forth quotes. Some are actually from Glock.
Yes, this is from the Glock page. What I just read you is from the Glock page. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see that and don't want to search for it when you get to the page, because it's a large page, a lot of info, just go to facebook.com/armedamericanradio and read the quotes, and you'll see where I posted a link to it.
My biggest question is where? Is this going to be international, or is this just going to be in the U.S.?
The assumption that I'm going to make, and that's a great question, I don't know positively, but Glock being out of Austria, with offices 11 minutes from my home in Smyrna, Georgia, I'm going to say it's across the board. I cannot imagine Glock is going to do this and then continue to sell some guns elsewhere. This is across the board. And for those of us in the United States, even if it's not, this is where we are. This is what we care about. So,
well, they must be horrified of a lawsuit coming. Something must be filed. Something is going to be filed. Something must be filed regarding the auto switches.
They were under threat from some of the other blue states. Of course, California, New Jersey was wanting to get involved. New York, the usual suspects in this case. But and you raise a great point. We're up against a hard break. When we come back, I want to address that. Now we're going to take it to the political side of this, ladies and gentlemen, because we don't have any more than what we just told you regarding confirmation from Glock. So this begs a ton of questions, which we're going to ask when we come back and try to do the best that we can to look at both sides of this. Why? Because California and Gavin Newsom signed a bill to ban Glocks. Others are looking at that and looking at lawsuits. And hang tight until we come back from the break, and we'll continue to dive into this. It's quite a fascinating conversation to have. And big news in the firearms industry, quite frankly. Quite Glockly. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Live and cameras. Yeah, the current one I'm sitting in, yes.
The following segment of Armed American Radio is proudly being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show.
Guys, I'm going to ask you to do me a solid favor today. If you've been thinking about the NRA, please do that for us at Armed American Radio. Their support for us is phenomenal. And if you love listening to the program 6 days a week, and many of you do, please support us so we can keep bringing it to you. The National Rifle Association has stepped up to the plate. They have said, look, we're back, we're new, we're fresh. I just had a meeting today with a bunch of the board members, guys, and the NRA, all of them speaking so highly of what the National Rifle Association is doing and working with the other groups. We really need you in this fight. We're going to save you $10. It's $35 a year. I'm going to ask you today, if you would, please, over the next few days or today, whenever you get to it, please step up and join the National Rifle Association and support Armed American Radio by doing that. It's really easy to do. It's nra.org/AAR. You're going to save $10 on the one-year membership. It's only $35 for a year membership. That's it. And I'm going to send you a free range bag for the 1 year or 3 year. Brand new membership or renewal, doesn't matter. And the 5 year to life membership, either one of those two. We're still going to save you money off the regular price. If you were just go out and buy it, we're going to save you money on that. $10, $20 is $20, $10, dude. If you saw it sitting on the ground, would you pick it up and put it in your pocket? You sure would. So why not save it and join the National Rifle Association? Get some cool free stuff in the process. Support this radio program that you love and support the National Rifle Association. I'm very privy to what the other side is doing. We had a meeting about it today. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Rifle Association is the biggest gorilla in the room out there. Please join us and say thanks for supporting AAR by using that nra.org/AAR. Would you please help us? We would appreciate that very much. You get a great membership package, and you get in the fight with us. And believe me, it's a fight. It is ongoing. I can't tell you about the meeting I had today, but suffice to say, they're not slowing down, ladies and gentlemen. They are coming at us hard, and the NRA is at the tip of the spear. Please join us, nra.org/AAR, and help us out, okay? I would appreciate that very much. Lee the GunWriter Williams, welcome back, my friend. So let's get into all of this now with the remaining two segments we have. But you mentioned something interesting. You said they must be very scared of coming lawsuits. I don't know if Glock's really afraid of that, but I had mentioned in the previous segment, and I mean, obviously it's a concern for any company, no question. But prior to that, I had mentioned, some of the common complaints, Lee, that you hear about Glock when you attend these trade shows. I've been attending these trade shows for a quarter of a century, and the complaint is always the same. Look at all the innovation at SIG. Look at the innovation at CAR. Look at all the innovation at all these new companies and all these fantastic guns. Smith, all of them. Glocks are all the same. You see the same Glock models every year. You don't see any changes, right? But here's the thing. Why fix what ain't broke?
Look at all the new guns. Look from all the manufacturers you just named. What do they have in common? A lot of them are going to the Glock. Mm-hmm. They're having their own version of the Glock come out. Of course, they're not mentioning Glock in the ad, but it's all a single-action pistol, just like the Glock.
Which is, look, you go all the way back to the 80s on this. The left went nuts. Oh, it's a plastic gun that could be, get through airport scanners and all this nonsense. You remember the Glock 17, and, the whole airport fiasco, which was all a bunch of bunk and a lie. But, I always support Glock and say, look, why would you fix something that's not broken? It's a phenomenal handgun design. I've got a ton of Glock models. Every one of them is 100,000 gazillion% reliable. All of my guns 100%. Are, if it's not reliable, I'm not going to carry it. Guys, you can take a Glock right off the shelf, not even shoot it. Get in your car, load it, put it in your holster, and God forbid you need to use it, that thing's going to go bang when your booger hook pulls the switch. It's that simple. And you can rely on that.
And it's not going to go bang when you don't want it to. I've always said you can take a Glock 17, fill the magazine, put it around in the chamber, throw it out on center ice, and play 4 periods of hockey with it rather than use a puck, and it's not going to go off.
There's that, right? So all of this matters, but that's why, for the most part. Now, the folks at Glock are kind of funny. I've had conversations with them. They're not far from my home. I've been to their facility. I've spoken to their people. All right, they're always holding everything really close to the vest. You're not going to see a lot of media. My guess, when I was talking with AAR Hawkins from Breitbart News about this today, as we went back and forth, My personal belief, and I could be wrong, this is just my opinion, it's my show, and I'm going to give you my opinion. That's what we do. I don't think we hear anything else about the politics of this from Glock at all. Let me explain what I mean by that. That goes right back to your statement. We'll pull a Jen Psaki here and go right back to that. We'll circle back to your statement about the lawsuits. Glock did not make this decision overnight. Okay?
Oh, gosh, no.
We're talking about retooling. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars in the scheme of things here. This is a long-term strategic business decision made by Glock that was not made yesterday. It was announced yesterday. Now, does this have anything to do with Gavin Newsom and California? Because, look, we have been adamant on this show. Do not redesign your guns to appease the left. Don't do it. Now, Lee, I have so much to say about this. I apologize. But I'm seeing a lot of conversation.
You're doing fine.
And I've had a lot of people ask me a lot about this today. And I disagree with some of the sentiment. And here's why, because we don't yet know. And likely, guys, we're not going to know. Now, what's the sentiment I'm talking about? I can't tell you with 100% certainty, Lee, that Glock made a political decision here. I will tell you this, the timing is very suspect. It's very suspect that this announcement comes out, obviously planned for a long time, but Gavin Newsom and the left has been threatening the Glock now for over a couple years. That's enough time to put a strategic business plan together if you're Glock. The timing
that state is big enough to put a real hurt on Glock.
Well, and it's the, we always rag California, but it's the largest consumer market in the country. It is. Glock, Florida, New York, and Texas, guys. It just is. It's the largest, most populous state in the country. And there are more gun owners in the state of California by state than any other state because of its population. Yes, they have to jump through hoops, but there are millions of Californians that own guns. Glock's a popular handgun everywhere. Now they want to ban it. Do you think all of a sudden overnight Glock just said, well, let's just discontinue basically our entire lineup except for 3 guns because Gavin Newsom signed a bill last week? Not in this lifetime. But this threat has been building for quite some time. So to suggest that Glock made this decision because it was purely political and they're appeasing, and as some folks had put out on social media, bending the knee to the left, I'm not sure that's true. I can't say that for sure. Why? Lee?
I just want to know what they're doing to law enforcement, because in law enforcement there's one Glock, that's the 17, 19 also. I mean, they have to continue making those, right?
Yes, this is what we don't know. Look, Glock has been putting out different gens of guns for generations, pun intended here. So I have no reason to believe that the Glock 17 is it this new V design, which I'm unfamiliar with. I'm not in any position to discuss that. I don't know anything about it yet. But yeah, what you just said, what he said, ladies and gentlemen, what he said. There's a lot of unanswered questions. I don't know about the political aspect, but I got to be honest with you guys. The timing certainly is suspect here. It really, truly is. Now, I will tell you this I mentioned that I've met a lot of people at Glock. I've been in the facility, which is, trust me when I tell you, it's not easy to get to that point, okay? They got cameras in trees a block away near that place. It looks like Langley, for crying out loud, all right? And you can only go so far when you get in there. Everything else is top secret for the most part. But they hold everything close to the vest. I'm concerned that, just again, my personal opinion, knowing how they operate to the extent that I do, which is more than the average bear, I don't expect we're going to hear any more from Glock. They've made their statement, and that's it. They don't care about the politics. Glock, they're just going to go. So, Lee, with the remaining seconds before we hear the music, do you think we'll hear more from them? Or did they say it all?
I don't. Yeah, I think they said it all. America is a small part of their market, although we're the largest part. But they're dealing with guns worldwide. A lot
of militaries outside the U.S., man. A lot.
A lot of militaries.
All right.
A lot of militaries. A lot of law enforcement.
Yeah, when we come back, we'll continue to discuss it. If we have time, and I don't know that we will, I think we might stay on this topic because it is fascinating. I want to read some Facebook posts from those of you who were kind enough to jump in there. I promised you I would mention them, and I'm going to. We'll be right back.
This segment is brought to you by Attorneys on Retainer. Get the only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. I was just telling Greg, I wish we had more time today. This subject is fascinating, but we have day after day after day to discuss this, which we will do, and we'll bring some other experts in. And you never know. Maybe Glock makes a statement. Maybe something new pops up about this, but it's a fascinating topic because Glock is, largely viewed as the one of the, if not the most popular handgun for many, many years. Before I get back into it with Lee, I want to quickly mention to you attorneysonretainer.us. If you've not seen the latest video that they've put up, you need to do yourself a solid. Go view it. See what can happen to you, ladies and gentlemen. If a decision that you make winds up getting scrutiny from law enforcement, believe me when I tell you, you're going to want an attorney. You're going to need one. And you don't want to need one after the fact when it's going to cost you everything you own. $35 a month. That's less than the cost of 1 hour of a good attorney. Please, just like the National Rifle Association, these things are no-brainers. Take advantage of this right now. Get off the fence and just do it. Attorneysonretainer.us, attorneysonretainer.us. Use the AAR promo code, save $50 on the sign-up, and have this card, if you're watching the show, this card in your wallet. Because that means you've got an attorney on retainer, literally right now, backed by the Attorneys for Freedom law firm. And all they do is focus and specialize on your self-defense case. That's it. Self-defense law only, nothing else. They're not going to be distracted by any other legal nonsense. Self-defense is their specialty. That's all they do. Attorneysonretainer.us. The promo code is AAR. And visit all of our great partners. I mentioned a few of them before, but you can find them all at armedamericanradio.com, armedamericanradio.com. Web work over at Centerfire Digital. Great company. Support them. Patriot Mobile. This is the Patriot Mobile mic. I got a Patriot Mobile phone here. Again, the promo code is AAR. Take advantage of all these great partners that we have available to you right now. Lee the GunWriter Williams, welcome back. We're going to wrap this hour up. I had wanted to get into some of the breaking news on what happened in Atlanta yesterday, but we'll do that tomorrow. It's a fairly evergreen story, no big deal. But back to this Glock thing for just a minute to close out, Lee. I don't know. I just know from personal experience that Glock holds things really close to their vest. My personal opinion is they've made their statement, and that's it. They're just going to move on. They don't need to appease anybody because of who they are. So I could be wrong about that, but.
Yeah, I would say in the time it took for you to explain that, they probably sold 1,000 Glocks.
Probably.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Could have even been 10,000.
I would. Yeah, I would. If I were them, though, I would still answer more questions. I mean, I just did a minor check of the internet, and Twitter is just everybody is saying the same thing. Is this real? Is this real? What is Glock doing? What is Glock doing?
The answer to the question, ladies and gentlemen, it is real. I just read you directly from the Glock website. I linked to it on my Facebook page. I encourage you to go look at it. Let's take a look at some of these comments that I solicited on our Facebook page at Armed American Radio today. George Coker says, if Glock offered to exchange your current model for the new designed model, would you take it? My response was simple, no. And here's why.
No.
I'm going to keep my Glocks. I love my Glocks. I love all my guns. I'm not trading it in. I'm just going to buy the new model. That was my straight up answer. I wouldn't exchange it, but I would buy the new one. And obviously, guys, look, do you think the Glock 17 is going away? I don't believe so. It's going to be a newly designed Glock 17 is my guess. Okay. And I think that's a fair guess, Lee, but I can't say for certain. I just don't know. Which is what makes it a fun conversation. It's going to be fun to watch it unfold. Chris Rich says, what difference does it make? So dumb. There's more existing Glock pistols on the market than any other gun in existence. That's fine to change the design, but there's still plenty of switch-ready models available to criminals. So what's the next step? You know it. They're going to say the old models are now illegal, turn them all in. It's just more backdoor gun control. They could do the exact same thing with AR-15s. Glock is making an error, in my humble opinion, Lee.
I completely agree. The only people that are celebrating right now are the other German arms companies like HK.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, it depends on what Glock comes up with. because whatever they come up with is
Yeah.
going to be the most exciting thing that's going to appear at one of the shows. I can promise you that. Jay Mike says, way to cave to the radicals. You think it'll stop here? Not a chance in hell. Blank you, Glock. That sentiment is out there, ladies and gentlemen. Christopher Scott says, I think they feared that under the new plan, the Democrat AGs are using consumer safety laws like Platkin in New Jersey, the PLCAA, that's the Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act, wouldn't give them the protection they need, and they are looking to limit liability. So some incredibly intelligent comments on this page. Go read them at facebook.com/armedamericanradio and give us your input on there. We'd love to hear from you. I will read more of these throughout the week on the program as we continue to discuss this. Lee, I want to thank you for being here. You know I love you like a brother. And how much time do we have, Greg?
We still got a couple minutes.
Oh, I thought you said 30 seconds. I do apologize.
Yeah, my bad. My eyes were blurry.
Oh, so you were blurry. That was Greg's fault, ladies and gentlemen. Did you see how I reacted? Greg, that's because I'm a professional. I actually listened to you.
I didn't have my glasses on, and it looked like it was 55.
I looked at my clock, and I went, Greg must be off, but he's telling me 30 seconds, so he's right. Joe Nasate, Joe, I apologize if I'm butchering your last name. Glock has opened the door for anti-gunners to bring more frivolous lawsuits against gun manufacturers. Next thing you know, everyone will be a felon for owning a previous model Glock. Ridiculous. Now, you know, if you're behind a blue wall in California or New York or Jersey, Lee, where they're coming after Glocks all of a sudden,
it's time to be concerned. First of all, move to Florida. Florida's knows how to treat gun owners better, as does Georgia. But my God, man, I mean, we have a few. You have totally blown my mind today. I'm sorry I wasn't as eloquent as I usually am. Not that I'm eloquent, but my God, man, I cannot see a major company doing this.
You're not alone. It wasn't a gotcha. Very few people are aware. I don't have the answers to this. I simply don't. But I will say this: the timing is suspect. David Patrick says, and I'll read part of his comment. They're resolving, in quotes, the Glock switch issue, pure and simple. California's roster no doubt prevented them from doing so before. Also, why Gen 3 still existed. Their fix will no doubt be a redesigned slide with no removable back, so Dremel sales will be on the up. The truly discontinued models probably not selling enough. Joseph McDonald says, when you make something idiot-proof, they will make a better idiot.
Yeah, that's certainly been our problem.
Yeah, Tom DeCoolil says, does the government ever prosecute people who install these switches? I've answered most of these questions. I jumped in and engaged on all of these. The questions that were asked and the thoughts were fantastic. And I appreciate it so much because it's a great conversation. And it just speaks to the intelligence of the people who are following this and paying attention here, and gun owners as a whole. The answer to that is I would believe they do, yes, but I do not have the numbers. I would love to know what those numbers are. It may be a question.
That's an ATF problem.
Yeah, that would be something to try to dig out if we could. David Wellington says, I honestly don't have an issue. There's no need for the modifications. You know, that's my stance, David. I agree. Don't fix something that ain't broke because the lefties want you to, or because Gavin Newsom and his little 12-year-old minions that are running his Twitter feed are putting the heat on you. If you're not watching Twitter, there's no heat on you. So quit watching Twitter. It's a joke anyway. Frank Rock. So people use their product, so they decide to punish good people. Lots of great comments. Make sure to check it out. Facebook.com/ArmedAmericanRadio. Lee, where can everybody find you, brother?
They can go to armedamericannews.org. They can go to Substack or the GunWriter.substack.com.
That'll do it. I got to run. We're cutting it off. Guys, I love you. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow.
You just failed your prescription.
Woo, that was close. Sorry about that. My bad.
Hang tight.
Presented by the National Rifle Association. The National Rifle Association on the Armed American Radio Network.
Yeah, he was running it down the wire there.
Yeah, I was thinking we had additional music, but that's on the Monster Cast. I apologize. My bad.
Well, you had all the same music.
Yeah, you're right. I did. I just lost track of it.
Yep, happens. I got lost track of time.
Now, I can't read Anthony Nabat's comment on here. Sounds pretty gay. If Gaston Glock were alive, he'd have taken a moment from... I can't even read this. I'm only going to read this on the internet, guys, because our mics are live. So, yeah, but there's some fascinating commentary in there. on this this Glock ordeal. So make sure to check out facebook.com/armedamericanradio. And if you don't like the page, please do so. We would appreciate it. Lots of great comments. Engage in the conversation. And let us know your thoughts, because I'm going to be reading these throughout the week, and I'm sure they're going to keep pouring in. So jump in, folks. Like I said, the water is warm. Get your feet wet, guys. Thanks for being here. We're going to get up and do it all over again tomorrow, precisely because they don't want us to. That's why we do it. Carry on, carry often, carry absolutely everywhere. Never, ever, ever leave your cave without your club. Ever do that. Don't do that. Please don't be that unarmed caveman. Unarmed is by choice. Disarmed is by force. Don't be the unarmed caveman. No self-respecting caveman would have ever, ever, ever disarmed himself. Thanks, guys. Love you. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow.